this entire year, uh, what can be said about it, right? It's already been said. You say it every day. Everybody says it to one another. It's unbelievable. It's something that is unprecedented. The world has never seen it. And, if it goes on for a few weeks, that's one thing. If it goes on for a couple months, that's another thing. If it goes on all year long, that's nerve-wracking. And people's nerves are frayed. And we notice it, we hear it. People are more agitated. I bet people have even said, "Boy, you seem a little more agitated than normal." Maybe your spouse has said that, and those are some of the natural occurrences whenever you have something that goes on and on and on. And so we are as a church grateful that in this time of the year, this season, we can focus on God's love for us. To rescue people like us, to rescue sinners, lost sinners, and save them. And so the Christmas time it couldn't come soon enough. It's been a difficult year for me personally, with a few medical things that have come up, then the coronavirus, and then there's always the world outside the church, that's the gates of hell that are trying to storm and fume and make noise. And we've had that again this last week, and people ask me about it, and I don't want to minimize it. I just want to say, welcome to church, welcome to Christianity. And it's, for me, over the years, I've seen enough of these things. It's become another day at the office. This is just standard fare, and it's to be expected. But we are to have a response. And the response is given several places, but in the New Testament, book of Romans, I'm just going to read a little passage that is probably familiar to you. I love the book of Romans because it tells us all about God's love. But then at a certain part of the book of Romans, there's a shift away from God's love to our love, what we show to people, the love that we are to show to people. And then I love how the book closes, because the book closes not with Paul saying, "I, the famous apostle who have done it all and been everywhere and have had a successful ministry, bid you farewell." Paul ends the book with a chapter that has a list of names. And it's people that he loved, people that worked with him, people that he acknowledged in ministry, people that served alongside of him. Chapter 16, though I'm not going to read it, I just love to mention it, that there are 26 individuals by name. The only way we would ever know of these people is that Paul would write their name. And he writes their name. He names them. He remembered their names. There's a couple people maybe he didn't remember. So there's 28 people named altogether, 26 by name, 2 unnamed. But the fact that Paul would end his most famous letter by saying, "I, Paul the apostle, am not a one-man show. I stand with some really stellar people, servants of the Lord, shoulder to shoulder. And we have marched through this together." But in the 12th chapter of the book of Romans, Paul says, "Let love be without hypocrisy. Abhor what is evil. Cling to what is good. Be kindly affectionate to one another with brotherly love, in honor, giving preference to one another, not lagging in diligence, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing steadfastly in prayer, distributing to the needs of the saints, given to hospitality." They lived in Rome. Rome was becoming increasingly a hostile environment. You know the history of the early church. You know the persecutions. You've read the stories. You've heard the accounts. You know how that the Romans hated Christians and killed many of them and accused them falsely. And as that environment was growing worse and worse and worse, this was becoming more and more and more important to do. Love. Show love to people. stand together in love. And he basically says, you still need to do the work of the ministry. You got to distribute to the needy people. You got to show this and do that. And so business must go on as normal as the world is getting worse and worse. He continues, bless those who persecute you. That's hard. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep. Be of the same mind toward one another. Do not set your mind on high things, but associate with the humble. Do not be wise in your own opinion. Repay no one evil for evil. Have regard for good things in the sight of all men, if it is possible. I'm so thankful that little caveat is there, because sometimes it's not possible. But if it is possible, as much as depends on you, live peaceably with all men. Beloved, do not avenge yourselves, but rather give place to wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. Therefore, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him a drink, for in so doing you will heap coals of fire on his head. Love. Let love be without hypocrisy. Hypocrites. Don't wear a mask. Don't just slap somebody on the back and say nice things and then stab them in the back with gossip later on. That's hypocrisy. It's interesting that Paul talks about love. He says, let love be without hypocrisy. And then he says, abhor that which is evil. I mean, that's a shift linguistically, to talk about love and then immediately accentuate hate. Hate what is evil. And here's an important aspect of love. When you love without hypocrisy, you need to hate certain things. Not people, certain things, certain practices. Hate what is evil. Abhor what is evil, cling to what is good. Part of being good at love is being good at hating the right things. Hate what is evil. Cling to what is good. That's just discernment. Be kindly affectionate to one another. Be easy on each other. Treat each other with grace. Give each other some slack. It's been a hard year for that coworker as well as you. It's been difficult for that one as well. Not lagging in diligence, meaning don't be lazy at your work, but work hard. Fervent in spirit, and here's why, because you are serving the Lord. Not serving a supervisor or a boss or an organization. You are called here, we are called here to serve the Lord. Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing steadfastly in prayer, distributing to the needs of the saints. I am so honored that this church has continued to find the needy in the community, to reach out to them, to buy toys for kids who can't find any kind of hope this year, to give them hope, to tell them about Jesus while we do that very, very practically. And it says, given to hospitality. Bless those who persecute you and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep. So our love needs to be empathetic, not just discerning, finding those among us who have experienced loss and try to enter into that loss with them. You know, I've always said that it's easier to weep with those who weep than rejoice with those who rejoice. When somebody gets blessed and you didn't get blessed, when they get something new and you didn't, when somebody's life improves and yours doesn't, it's not easy, but it's the mark of true love and servanthood to cross over and say, I rejoice for you. I am so happy for you, rather than inwardly saying, well, why didn't I get that promotion, or why didn't I get that item? But we need to really get good at rejoicing with those who rejoice, as well as weeping with those who weep. So enough expounding on the text. I just wanted to throw that out and say our response to hatred is the love of Christ, the discerning love of Christ, hating what is evil, calling out what is evil, but loving nonetheless, and showing that love by distributing to those who are needy, by counseling and laying hands on and praying for those who are sick, by entering into people's griefs and being there when they need a shoulder to cry on and counsel to listen to. I want to thank you for doing that this year. You've been good at it. We've all had to shift our positions a little bit and make a lot of personal phone calls and distribute sack loads and boxes of goods to people around the community. And this team of servants has done a stellar job, as well as volunteers. But I'm addressing you now, and I just want to say how honored I am to stand with you during this year. You know, you can tell how good your army is, your troops are. You can really only find out how good they are in a battle, right? When they're battle tested. You can go through all the rigmarole and all the training, right, Antonio? You can shoot that target with headphones on when it's a perfect environment. But when the bullets fly and you're in the battle, you can tell how good your army is by how well they do in the fight. And you have done and are doing stellar. So with the current petition that is being signed and the enemy squawking, I say, God bless them. Yeah. Have at it. Do your worst. I'm not going to be silenced. I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm not going to close my doors. I'm not going to not share the gospel with people. I'm going to just turn up the volume and say, Jesus Christ is Lord, and we're coming at you. Because all this does for me is clarify good and evil and makes me love what is good all the more and really hate what is evil all the more. And so I'm really, it sounds weird, I'm really excited about what God is doing. I don't know what he's doing. I couldn't tell you what he's doing. But I'm excited about it because I've lived enough of this road to know that whatever it is, it's going to be awesome. And I just kind of can't wait to open that present and see what the next year unfolds. Father, thank you for this room full of people, this Romans chapter 16 room full of people, servants who stand, who pray, who work, who serve, who love, who lavishly love, and who love with discernment, Lord, thinking about how to frame a certain sentence, how to approach a person in a difficult need, how to say some difficult truth while showing support and love to the individual. We need your grace to do that. We thank you that we have an unlimited supply of that. Thank you for your work in and through this body, this church, this local expression of your intent on this earth. And pray, Father, this day, this season would be wonderful.